Okay guys, so today we've got a very special video for you today. It's one of my successful students, and the reason why I asked her to share her story was it's very similar to hundreds of thousands of students worldwide and their experience with the test and the reasons why they're not getting the score that they need and what they can do to help them get the score that they need. So Daniela, can we start off just by you introducing yourself to give us a little bit of background information about you?
Hi, I'm Daniela. I'm from Chile, Santiago de Chile, and I'm a speech therapist. And did the IELTS because I needed to apply to a master's in Australia.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell people a little bit about your IELTS experience?
Yeah, so I had months to prepare the first time because I took the IELTS twice. And the first time I had months to prepare 2 or 3 months. And I've always considered my English to be good. So I thought that was going to be enough. I'm going to reach the score that I need. And I bought a course here in Chile. I'm not going to say the name of the course. It's not necessary, but I paid a big amount of money, and they did help me in the listening, reading, and speaking part. But in the writing part, they were really vague. The ideas were always to brainstorm. They never taught me a structure, and the essays that I give to the teacher of the course always said that they're good. He gave me advice sometimes, but it wasn't what I needed, and they didn't taught me a structure. So the day of that I took the IELTS, it was really bad, and then I knew that day that I didn't really know how to do the writing part, even though I consider my English to be good.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my results back, and the writing part they weren't good at all, or they weren't what I needed, because it's not that bad. It's at 6.5. A lot of people need that to enter a master's, but I needed over 7 or more.
Yeah, it's a really common problem because,
Yeah.
like, not saying that all schools are bad, but the problem with a lot of schools where you might be in a class with 15, 20, 30 students and the teacher can't treat each of you as an individual. They're really teaching you what you said, a very vague curriculum. And the other thing is it's kind of potluck whether you will get an IELTS expert, someone who really knows what they're doing in one of these schools, or just a teacher who normally teaches general English. The other thing that you said was the teacher was giving you a band 8 for your essays. I mean, that kind of.
Above 7, 7.5.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teachers are doing their best, but they might not have been examiners, or they might not really know anything about IELTS. So yeah, some schools are great, but it's a shame that students spend a lot of money. Like, I've heard students spend like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on one of these courses where they're in a class with 20 other students and they're really not getting the help that they need. So how did you overcome that? What advice would you give students if there's lots of people are getting 6.5 in writing and they need a 7 like you. So what advice would you give them for writing?
Well, my advice would be to never give up. I mean, it's okay if you don't get the score you need the first time. I've heard a lot of people that have to go through that, and just do it again and consider it as a practice, because it's kind of practicing and knowing what you're getting into doing the test.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, I have the score that I needed, and I took your course, the writing course, and that's what I did to improve. I mean, I watched your videos all day. I mean, I had 2 weeks to prepare, nothing more, nothing like compared like the months that I had before. I had 2 weeks, and then I have to. What I did, it was every day I watched a different video, sometimes 3 or 4 in the same day, because didn't have more time. And I took notes. I think that's important because that helps with your memory. You have to take notes and take notes of the most important things. And I didn't have time to do that, but I'm going to give advice to the students that have months to prepare. You should practice the most amount of time you can. If Chris gives you an example, for example, now you do it yourself, you have to do it yourself. It's you have to practice what he's teaching you. I mean, that's really important. I didn't have enough time, but
you talked a little bit about brainstorming, that the school that you were at just said that all you do is just brainstorm, and it's quite different from what I teach. What do you think about brainstorming, and what would be a better idea? Because, you know, some people watching this video just won't be able to afford my courses, won't be able to join them. If we were to give some free advice about brainstorming, what would you say? Because it's really, really common advice from teachers.
Well, even if you can afford, there's a lot of information in IELTS Advantage. And before I bought your course, I saw that, and I think it's really good because you're giving free advice to people. And my advice would, don't brainstorm. Whatever you do, don't do it. It's a bad idea because you're nervous that day. It's not a regular day. You're nervous because you have to get a score. And brainstorming is bad because you are going to get multiple ideas at the same time, and you're not going to be able to pick one or pick the best one, because sometimes you pick one, but it's irrelevant, and you need to pick something that's relevant and important for the essay. So my idea I use the coffee shop method, and it really works. I imagine myself with a friend. I imagine my best friend, and we were in Starbucks, and she asked me, do you agree that people that live in an urban zone, blah, 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 have a healthier life? And that was my question in the IELTS. So immediately I came up with two main ideas for the essay, and I wrote it down, and I started doing the essay, and I thought in that moment, wow, this was really, it wasn't hard at all as I pictured it before. So don't brainstorm.
It's about really, instead of brainstorming and thinking of as many ideas as possible.
And it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it takes a long time, and it results in a lot of irrelevant ideas. So instead of that, just ask yourself direct questions like, do you agree with this? Why do some people think this? Or just a direct question. And if people want more help with that, there is a free article on IELTS Advantage about idea generation. So if you were to give people, say, one more piece of advice about IELTS writing, what would you give them?
Well, you have to practice. That's really important. Practicing is really important. I respect the vocabulary. Have a notebook with all the new words that you're learning, because in your videos you put a lot of new words that I didn't understand or that I haven't heard before, so I wrote it down. And to be, I don't know the word, positive. You have to be positive when doing the, I mean, it takes a lot of time to practice. It doesn't matter how good your English is or how many years have you been studying English, because the IELTS is a different matter. It doesn't. So to be positive, to practice, and my advice would be to really watch all your videos, and if you can, bought the course of the writing course or join the VIP. It's really good, and it's not expensive at all if you consider or you compare it with other courses. I mean, what I paid respect the other course that I was doing, it's nothing, and it helped me 1,000 times more than the first time.
Thanks very much, Daniela. And so what does the future hold for you now that you've got the score that you need?
Well, I hope that the universities are going to reply to me saying that I'm accepted in their master. That now that I got the score, because one told me that I needed to get over band 7. So I'm fingers crossed that I will get there.
If you need any help with any applications or anything like that, just let me know. You know, checking your English or anything like that, help you out.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks very much, Daniela, and thank you very much for sharing that advice. Okay, Daniela, bye-bye.